Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Tashana, the hostess with the mostest. Let's get into this. So, hi guys. No, we're not talking about the periodic table, but y'all are gonna think I'm crazy. Y'all gonna think I'm crazy. No, for real. I'm not crazy. I literally heard this from the Most High, and it was confirmed before I started to even record. I was gonna transition and resume right to the actual factual element table, but I got the confirmation early this evening, but I got the download early this morning. I'm going to read it off to you. When you hear birds chirping, they're calling in the ancestors. When you hear dogs bark, they're sending warnings, having debates, or warding off evil. I mean, profusely barking, like, you know how we hear dogs like, rah, rah, rah. Of course, we know that those are warnings. But they are warding off the attacks that are coming in the spirit world, or sometimes they're having debates in the spirit world for us, or when you hear two dogs going back and forth with one another, then they are having a debate with one another or with a spirit that has been trying to come in. Shut up and listen, okay? I know this just sounds crazy. When you hear cats meowing, they are informing you, opening or closing a portal or guarding said portals. Now these are traditional animals, right, that we have access to on a day-to-day basis if we are in the city, right? Obviously, depending on the city, your location is going to also determine, right, the animals that you may see that may be just there, right? Now listen to me. When I initially heard this, I was actually walking down the street this morning, and I thought it was just something that God was like, trying to tell me something that the ancestors said. Even though the things the ancestors say are usually some slick little sayings, they're usually true, right? And then throughout the entire day, now remind you, I had 2 different dreams about dogs. Turned around the next day and saw like videos about dogs that the videos I saw reminded me of the dream, right? Because I totally was not thinking about the dreams that I had, right? Then I actually looked up the meaning of my dreams because it was weird. I have had animals about dreams before, but when I was younger, and then the ones that did occur when I was a little bit older, it was just one of those mixed dreams, right? That actually I'm literally right now in this moment just remembering and realizing what they could mean. So, and of course, this is just because these are the animals that I have access to. We have to remember that sounds are a frequency, right? It's a vibration, and if you really tap in, I know I'm going to sound crazy, but you might be able to understand them. Shh, don't. Please don't kill me. I know this sounds weird, but you have people that, they call like animal whisperers or like what's his name? Nutty Professor, right? It's possible, okay? And these are vibrations that people are tapped into. And then it got me to thinking about, like Snow White and all these movies that animals are, or characters, right? Where people are attracted to, or the animals are attracted to them. And it just made me realize that, and we had this discussion, right, about being able to tap in to certain frequencies, about how animals can hear and see and smell things that humans cannot, how babies can also resonate with particular frequencies. But this isn't that type of conversation. Okay, this is something slightly different. This is us using our God-given gifts to connect with the earth and the animals. And I'm not sure if we've ever had a segment about animals, really. So that was the next thing. And as I got the confirmation for the download, another download has started to come in. Just about, the types of communication that animals have. And that's not even like this conversation, right? We're not necessarily discussing animals in the style of communication. We're just simply having the conversation of what it means when they are communicating. And right, we know animals have spiritual meanings already on their own, but this perspective was just giving me the opportunity to observe just how spiritual we are as a people, and how animals are also special. And it just brings us back to the conversation of us coming from one source, us, having the ability to tap into a similar or the same vibration with one another. I mean, this now we know some animals are just smart, right? Some animals are just more like a human, or more advanced than other animals, right? So it would naturally make sense to want to tend to the animals, to take care of them, because we know that God created them, right? And they're one of the beings created by the Most High. But then when you start looking at them from a spiritual aspect, and we know, right, spirits can be attached to them and work through them or come into them, whatever. That's not even what this conversation is about. But they can be companions also, right? When you start looking at the different spiritual aspects of them, we can learn from them. The same way we take care of them, the same way we provide for them, the same way we consider them a quote unquote pet, they can be our companions, right? A lot of people don't really believe that animals are spiritual beings, right? But if you're a spiritual person, you have no choice but to believe that animals are spiritual for multiple reasons. But when I got that download earlier, and then I had gotten a confirmation, I was just like, wait, so you mean to tell me the spiritual connections that they have, like they're visible to us? And the creator's like, yes, those are signs and symbols of their connections to the unseen, right? Because if a dog can warn you about something that you can't see, or if a cat can open or close a portal or guard the portal, or if a cat can call your ancestors, that is a direct correlation to the spirit world, okay? And even though we may not understand the exact communication, we can see it, right? It's something that we don't necessarily understand, but we're aware of the ability of them to provide us with insight on things that we may not be aware of. And I think that is the sign that, they were sent here to assist us with battling the warfare, with fighting the unseen. And we don't have to have exact proof, but how many times have we seen animals react to things that we don't see, right? How many times have we seen animals bark, meow, or chirp? And I'm just using these 3 animals because these are the 3 animals that we can vibrate with on a more common level. Of course, also being in a city, right? So if you're in a country, you may be able to make a spiritual connection with animals that are in the country. And I mean that we freely have access to, that we may not have as our own pet, that you could just see walking around. I know in some places they have geckos just running around, or field mice just running around. We don't necessarily hear the sounds that they can make, even if it's a rat, right? If you pay attention to the sound that a rat makes, it's much lower than that of a cat, a dog, or a bird. The sounds that the cats, dogs, and birds make, the pitch of the overall frequency, we can hear it a little bit better because the frequency that they're vibrating on is more closer to our own. Rats are a little bit lower in vibration. And yes, humans, we do vibrate on a low frequency, but only demonic people would be able to interpret the squealing of a rat, right? And of course, when you hear people, or see people rather, communicating with animals, and you're like, how is it that, people can go into a cage and tame a lion, or, a gorilla, or when you look at these zookeepers, or people who are out in the wild and they mesh well with nature. These people more than likely come from a bloodline of people who can vibrate and resonate with frequencies that the average human cannot, or they just vibrate on a more angelic frequency, right? And today, this might be people who listen to music that has been created before they were born, right? They're tapped into a different frequency, or they resonate or are attracted to different cultures, right? So people that like food from other cultures, or listen to music from other cultures, just multiple genres, or just no other languages. These are all just examples of being attracted to different frequencies. So I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here. I thought that download was crazy. I thought I was bugging out. But when I start hearing the dogs barking, I didn't understand what they were saying, but it was confirmation to the download that I had gotten earlier. So yeah, just start paying attention to and tapping into different frequencies and things that allow you to kind of understand the unseen a little better, or just from a different perspective, right? But I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. I do love y'all. Hope y'all drink y'all water, eat y'all fruit and vegetables, and sip on your own tea, because it's free. Peace.